Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is the 250 press conference from the Detroit Supercross. Huge congratulations to Jet Lawrence, Cameron McAdoo, and Pierce Brown. Jet, I'll start with you. This is back-to-back races now where you've been able to sweep the qualifier, the heat, and the main event. It's really coming together. It looks great out there. But at the same time, I know how much you do respect your competition. So how is that balance for you, knowing that there are guys right there, but you are starting to click things off back-to-back?
Yeah, I got a bit of a reality check in the first qualifying. I looked at the tower and I was like P4. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. So no, especially this track this weekend, I felt like the times were really, really close. So the boys kept me definitely on my toes, and the biggest thing is just making sure I click my times off, my lap times, like just making sure I focus on myself, because I can never know where I make a slight mistake and one of these boys capitalize on that. So it's definitely close racing, but I just need to make sure I focus on myself and should be okay, just not make any silly mistakes.
You had a tough run at one point in the main with the lap riders, came up to like a pack of them, rolled the finish line jump, and then they were right there. How did you respond in that moment and kind of get it back together, try to get that lead back up?
Yeah, this man comes up on the inside. Every guy revs it in the air. This guy was like silent, didn't hear anything, scared the living daylights out of me on the inside. All I see is a front fender. I'm like, oh, I was not ready for this. So this guy surprised the. I pooped my. It was I can't speak English now. No, it was definitely tough because the track was pretty tight, and the first few guys I came up to lapping, it was a big group of 4 or 5. And they were going hard, battling, and then one guy got up next to me, look over, and he goes hard. I'm like, what? But no, track was tricky because there's so many lines and ruts, so it was harder for them because they're trying to still hit their line and not mess up anyone else. So it was definitely tricky.
Congratulations, Jason Wygant.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, for Racer X. I'll go to you, Pierce Brown. First half of the race was great. You did end up on the podium. Is this considered a breakthrough, even though I'm sure you would have liked to have held on a second, but is this a big step for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a breakthrough from where we've been. I saw Jet roll the finish and then got excited, tried to make a move, and then he pulled out. And then after that, I just started making mistakes and let Cam get around me. And then after that, I was kind of just damage control. But no, I'm happy with how I rode. I definitely had some. I would have changed some stuff in the main event if I could go back, but live and learn. And I'm just stoked to be up here.
David Iser.
Thanks, Daniel. Cameron, you didn't get the best of starts, but you worked your way through the pack all the way up to second, but you didn't make much time on Jet after that. Did we get to see a Cameron McAdoo a more mature tonight, where you knew what you had, what the track was giving you tonight, and you backed it down and took what the track gave you tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wouldn't say I backed it down. Obviously, I would have liked to be a little bit closer to Jet towards the beginning and been able to race him. He's gets out front and he's fast. You know, he puts down some good laps, and you know, both of them were riding really good tonight. So starting 7th is not going to work. And then, yeah, I felt like I put some good laps together, and then I think we got a little bit of a gift with the lappers, kind of tightening us all up. But, I mean, I think that, you know, I wished I would have been a little closer when that happened. But, like I said, like, everyone's riding so well that, yeah, this was the way the track was, to answer your question, sorry. It was one of those where it would kind of bite you. Like, it had good traction, and it had, you know, it felt like you could race it pretty hard, but then there was some weird holes in some pockets of the jumps and different stuff that would reach up and get you a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, consistency is, you know, the way I need to do this. And like we saw last year, I think I kind of lost it on the bad nights. So I would obviously like to be up there closer to Jet and fight him for some wins, and that's the goal here in the future. But yeah, happy to be up here on the podium talking to you guys tonight.
And after a week of training in a race night, can we say that knee is no longer a factor?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would have said the knee wasn't a factor this morning going into the race day. It's sore, obviously, but it was pretty swollen. I got some days riding last week, and nothing's actually injured with it, which I was a little bit concerned about in Daytona last weekend. That's why I didn't really talk on it much. But we got it all figured out, and she's strong, so we're going to go.
Thanks, Cameron.
Jamie, MotoX Pod.
Hey, Jet, with the results, it seems like business as usual, but I'm curious, with a lot going on at Honda this week, obviously Kenny pulling out, some other team personnel not being there anymore, Kehoe leaving last year. How are you able to not deal with that? Is that even in your peripheral, or does any of that ever bother you? Anything going on with team stuff?
No, not really, because none of it's got to do with me, really. I mean, if it had something to do with me, maybe, yeah, but none of it's any of my problem, you could say. And I'm not meaning in like a mean way, like, oh, I don't care, but that's their problem, you could say. I'm focused on my racing and what I get paid to do, so no, it doesn't affect me much, to be honest.
Perfect. Thank you.
Kellen Brower.
Thanks, Kellen Brower with Race Directs. This question's for Pierce Brown. Right at the beginning of the race there, Jet obviously blitzed past Styles in the whoops, and it seems like you were pretty urgently trying to get by Robertson as well as you made that block pass in the next corner. Is that kind of accurate assessment of the situation? You didn't want to let Jet get away. You maybe felt like you had the pace to win tonight?
Yeah, you can't let Jet get away too early. I made a little bit of aggressive pass on Robertson, but that was just me trying to get through the pack early and just latch onto his pace, because it's been actually I don't think I've ever been up there and rode that pace before, so that was new to me. I knew I had to get up there and learn and just ride my laps, so that was basically the mindset behind the urgency to get around Styles.
Awesome, thank you.
Brad Gephardt.
Thanks. Brad Gephardt, Big MX Radio. This one's for Cameron McAdoo. What's the biggest difference between yourself this year and last? Just comfortability on the bike and just overall bike skill?
Honestly, I think it's being familiar with being in this position. Coming into last year, I wasn't really familiar with that. I wasn't familiar with showing up to the track in the morning and expecting to, be on the podium and put in results every practice session and like really lock in through every day. So like I said earlier on this year, like it was a lot really quick. I got second at the first round. I won Daytona. I got my first race win. I was points leader, and then so I think that I got a little ahead of myself in Atlanta last year when obviously everyone saw me crash pretty hard a few times. And yeah, that's kind of the difference, I think, is just being comfortable in this position and expecting it, and just having some experience doing it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Revista Moto.
Hey, thank you, Dana. Hey, this is a question for Jet. Jet, can you talk a little bit about what you work on during the week? It looks like you don't really have a weakness out there, and you're very comfortably at the top of the leaderboard.
I think just clicking off laps and always perfecting with anything, bike, technique, speed, even mentally. I can always be better in a way, so I'm always going through that through the week. Everyone has their weakness. I wouldn't say it was a weakness more so at round 2, but this is kind of, you saw a little bit of glimpse of old Jet. That's probably, or you could call that's probably a bit of my weakness is old Jet, really, just sending it. So hopefully I can make sure I keep my head down and have to not go into that. But if I do have to, I know I have to make sure that I stay minded of that and make sure I don't make those same silly mistakes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Michael Lindsay.
Michael Lindsay from BioMX. My question is for Pierce Brown. Pierce, you mentioned it, I believe, on the podium today about just finally putting together a full day. For a couple years now, we've known you're fast. You've had good practice sessions, good heat race, occasional mains, but never really put together a full night maybe as good as tonight. When I look at your program, basically same bike, same team, a lot of the same guys around. New this year is Josh Weisner coming to the program from HRC, and you also have Will Hahn coming aboard, which I know Barsha gives a lot of credit to. For you, is it just experience? Is it one of those guys? What to you is kind of elevating you this year if somebody were to stop and ask you that?
I think it's everything, just a mix of, we have Josh on board. He's amazing. He's really helping develop the bike. And with Will, he just holds me accountable every single day, and that's something I've never really had before. So I think that's kind of where the growth from this year from last year came from. I needed today bad. I put together a solid day for me. I went P2 in qualifying, won the heat, P3 in the main, and every time, my first podium, I was P12 in qualifying, and yeah, it was just all over the place. So I'm happy to have a steady, drama-free day, and just happy to get the ball rolling.
Cool. Can I ask another one, Daniel?
Yeah, go for it.
For Jet Lawrence, Jet, there was a little bit of talk this week, of course, a lot of talk with Kenny choosing to bow out and focus on his health. So instantly people start to speculate who could ride the 450. I know Daniel was joking about Race Day Live about yourself and your brother potentially getting experience on the opposite coast. Then again, you are in the championship hunt. Would you be interested in riding a 450 when this coast kind of goes on break for a couple rounds? Or, even the next year or two, if you're in the title fight, do you see the experience as valuable, or is it too much of a risk to go race the 450 at this point?
I'll worry about 450 when I get to it. I mean, any time that I'll have away from Supercross, I'll be focused on trying to defend the outdoor title, because that's a whole nother basket of stuff. So I think I probably won't. Maybe Hunter. I feel like he's going to be pretty lethal on a 450. We'll have to wait and see. My eyes, I still think he sucks, but no. Well, I think any time away from if I'm away from the East Coast, I think I'm going to be focusing on outdoors, because that's my next main goal, is defending that, because I know the boys are going to come in swinging pretty hard. So, yeah.
Brian with Cycle News.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, this one's for Pierce Brown. Pierce, great ride tonight, but can you just take us through the pass that Cameron made on you through the whoop section? They said on the broadcast it maybe looked like you missed a shift, but when I rewatched it didn't really look like that. After that, you had really good passes through. I just wanted to kind of take me through that.
Yeah, those whoops were tricky. The first 3 to 4 were pretty much the main battle. If you got through the first 4 clean, then you'll just blitz through them. But that lap cam got me. I clipped a double, and I just didn't have the speed coming in. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna be risky to send it through these. So I was like, I'll just double through and then get it next lap. But yeah, like I said, that's just one of those just learning things that I gotta get under my belt.
Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra from Racer X. We'll stick with Pierce on this one. So you're kind of like in the same boat as Malcolm. You're like starting your day much better in qualifying. You're looking fast all day long. Get to the heat race, get some heat race wins on you so far, and then kind of like fighting for the podium spot in the main event. Is there anything you can point to like specifically that will take you to the next level, and then maybe you can be fighting for the wins and stuff like that? Is there anything specifically you can point to? I guess that will take you to the next step.
Starts for sure. I just need starts. I didn't have very good starts tonight, but my first 3 to 4 corners were just carnage, and I was somehow making passes left and right, and that saved me tonight. But yeah, I need my starts dialed, and then I just need to get more time up front with the boys and just learn that pace and learn how to just maintain for the full 15. So that's one thing I lacked tonight.
Awesome, thanks.
Final question for David Iser.
Thanks, Daniel. Jet, it looked like in that qualifying practice that you were off is that your forks looked a little bit soft to me and you couldn't push. What adjustments did you guys make to remedy your problems with that qualifier?
Sorry to disagree, but they were too stiff. We actually went softer with the front forks. They were going all the way down, going into the turn, and then when we hit the bowl turn, it was coming back really fast. So we ended up going softer with that to keep the front down. And because that first one, first qualifying, I was struggling my turns more so. I mean, rhythms are rhythms. You can get through them. Everyone's pretty equal in those. The main thing on a 250 is those corners and carrying the speed and obviously the whoops. But yeah, I was more focused on in those turns because the front would go down and it wouldn't stay in that sweet spot in the stroke and it would come back at me. So we ended up going a few clicks softer in the front and even in the rear. After that, when the track got a bit rougher, the rear started to dance a little bit in the whoop. So we ended up going 2 clicks, I think, faster on the high speed and obviously 2 clicks softer in the front.
I completely knew that. That was a trick question, so you did good.
Thank you. Been doing my research.
Any other details you want to reveal to your competitors, or are we good?
The edges on the whoops, like when it's shiny and there's a rock, don't hit it.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
All right, congrats, guys. We'll see you in Indy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.